know, he'd been a cuckold for years.
Putting a chair in front of my door when I go to sleep, but that's an extra defense.
Are you still in the adult industry? Or?
She said monkey. I was going to say,
No,
I'll tell you what, if she said monkey, we're going to go find her right now.
Right.
You're going to say, listen.
No, she said ape.
I don't think so.
Bed with itch behind you, wake up with stinky fingers.
I was in the gym non-stop.
You're buff.
I was.
All 140 pounds of you.
Yeah.
No. Give me some meds.
All right, recorded at Grim Reaper Studios, located somewhere at the base of the beautiful Blue Mountains in eastern Oregon. It's Sonoman Sideshow, and I'm your host, Les the Snowman Kinnear. Welcome. Tonight, we have a special guest, David the Viking Larson. Looking forward to that. We're going to get him brought up on Zoom here in a little bit. Hopefully there will be no technical difficulties because I have no idea what I'm doing. So, anyways, thanks for tuning in. I hope everybody's doing well. Just going to go ahead and solo some of the beginning stuff, and we'll get into David's interview here shortly. So, what's new? Well, it's fall, right? I think today was the first day of fall, or it was here recently, and beautiful weather we're having around here, though. I mean, cool nights, mornings, and then warm during the day. So, really like that kind of weather. It's my favorite, actually. But then I kind of get depressed thinking that winter's coming. I would like to leave, like after Halloween, I'd love to go stay somewhere else for a few months, during the poor weather, and then come back. So that's a hint to my son down in Arizona to hurry up and get a place that mom and dad can come live with you in the winter. Let's see what else is going on, which, and that in mind, like with fall, I don't know if anybody else noticed, but like my appetite changes. So now suddenly I'm wanting more fall foods. So like, soups and lasagna and stuff like that baked. And so, yeah, anyways, funny how the diet changes from season to season. But what else? Fall, yeah. Got my leaf guards in. We'll see if that works. Yard work's almost over with for the... You know what? On a side note, that makes me think, I was just thinking algorithms, YouTube algorithms. I've been having fun trying to figure out how to master that. It's bizarre. It's all about the title, like the file title, the title you put in there. Just all these different things, and you can post something at a certain time and get 11 views, and you can post something a little bit later and get 1,000 views. It's weird, but anyways, that's kind of fun. Just so if all my friends and family are sick of seeing my little YouTube shorts are being notified, I'm sorry, but I'm just trying to get the word out. What else? Let's hop into sports. It's football season. It's football time. I don't pay a lot of attention. I know every Thursday night I would watch football because it comes with Amazon Prime, but now that I have RidgeTop TV, I can watch any football game I want pretty much. So I think it's time for me to get back in there and start following my LA Chargers, also known as the San Diego Chargers. I know they played today. Steelers beat them, I think 20-7. So not what I was hoping for. A lot of what's the word? A lot of hubbub about the team and Herbert and the new coach and everything. But whatever. Chargers always have been, always will be the best 500 team in football. So yes, week 3 of football, NFL. What else? What about this? I thought this was interesting. I mean, this is from the New York Times. The WNBA is expanding to Portland by granting the league's 15th franchise to the city. The team, which was announced Wednesday, will begin play in 2026 and be led by Lisa Bothell-Marage and Alex Bothell, both owners of the Northwest NWSL's Portland Thorns. Must be a different division for the lower league basketball or something. So, anyways, Portland's getting a WNBA team. That's kind of interesting, kind of cool. There wasn't any UFC this weekend. We're still healing from Sean's loss, but we'll be back. We'll be back. Boxing. Anthony Joshua. Do I have that pulled up here? Anthony Joshua, this is in boxing. He fought Daniel Dubois. Anthony Joshua, 28-3 with 25 KOs, challenges Daniel Dubois, 21-2 with 20 KOs for the IBF World Heavyweight title at Wembley Stadium. Wembley Stadium. That should have been really cool. I didn't get to watch it. I could have with my RidgeTop TV, but I think there's like 96,000 people there, or something to that effect. So, yeah. Anyways, there is a fly just really wanting to get on my podcast. So, anyways, that's all I've got for sports. Let's hop into the strange news. And let's see here. Actually, you know what? Since David's on the pod tonight, and David's the one that sent me some news items, so I'll use David's. Yeah, good idea. And it goes, he sent me this headline. This is from New World Americas, I guess. Mother of 4 dies after freak treadmill accident during gym workout. Delray Rosario, 36, never regained consciousness after hitting her head on an exercise machine at an LA Fitness in Kent, Washington. Yikes, that sounds terrible. She has a GoFundMe, so, but I know it sounds weird, but there are injuries all the time on treadmills. We have a treadmill. It's on the other side of this camera. I get injured from it all the time because it's in the way, just kidding. All right. Sorry for her. What else did you send me, David? This is from Fox13Seattle.com. City Council passes controversial drug prostitution buffer zones. The Seattle City Council just passed 2 ordinances aimed at cracking down on local crime and prostitution. The controversial legislation known as SOAP, Stay Out of Area Prostitution, and SODA, Stay Out of Drug Area Zones, sparked intense debate with dozens lining up for hours before the council meeting. So this goes on and on here, but people must be a little bit disturbed about having designated areas almost. I can see the argument there. But that's a good one. Thank you, David. Next one. This is also from Fox13Seattle.com. Also compliments of David, and it is suspected DUI driver crashes into Washington State Patrol's drive sober sign. In Kitsap County, Washington, a driver was arrested on suspicion of driving under the influence after crashing into the Washington State Patrol's Bremerton District Office in Kitsap County, according to Trooper Kathleen Weatherax. So that is kind of funny. That didn't work out too well, did it? The suspect, who was taken to the hospital for medical evaluation after the incident, ironically crashed their vehicle beneath the Washington State Patrol sign that read, "Buckle up, pay attention, slow down, drive sober." And then they've got a picture of it there, so that's kind of funny. The trooper, Weathermax, reported the event on her official X account, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, the driver was arrested for DUI and then admitted to the hospital. So, all right, that's the end of strange news. Thank you, David. That was pretty good. That was good. Give me less than I had to look up. So, okay, well, let's see here. Let's get David on the horn and get ready for that next. This stuff is such a pain. Oh, sometimes it works perfectly and other times it doesn't. There we go. Okay. Perfect. Yes, we are back, baby. This is, we're not going to I know sometimes the gods speak and they try to stop us, and we're not going to let it happen. Two Vikings, we're going to come together. We're going to talk about this stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. Okay.
Oh, that's okay.
So, anyways, you're telling me about your fishing and growing up there in the area and how that all started.
So we moved out here, they call it the Olympic Peninsula. When I was, we lived in Kingston, which is by the ferry, until I was about 13. And then we moved out in the Chimacum Quilcene area, and lived out on some property and used to do a lot of fishing and dirt bike riding and exploring in the woods. And, just kind of, yeah.
And that kind of takes me into the next thing, the Sasquatch related question. Anytime I know somebody who might be into Sasquatch, I like to bring that up. So obviously we both know that K-Dog is my dad is really an enthusiast. And
oh yeah.
So where do you rank on that? And have you always been into that, or is that just more of a fun thing?
It's kind of funny, like how your dad was talking about when he was in school, somebody gave him a book, and that's kind of how I came across it too. Somehow, I forget how I got into it, but I just remember reading a book when I was in like junior high, and I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And then, I didn't really think much of it until I met your dad and this other guy. His name was Jim, and
Oh, right.
they convinced us to go. He's the one that didn't really approve of Stacy and I having a kid, but that's a story for another time. Anyways,
Yeah.
so they talked us into going to the Sasquatch convention for the first time down in it was Ocean Shores at this really nice casino. And so we went down there and we all met up there, and I've still got pictures and everything. And they had somebody in a Bigfoot costume walking around. They had Bigfoot footprints all around the hotel, kind of guiding you towards the room.
Right.
And they had this big meeting area and full of chairs. And they had different presentations of people that had been out in the woods and they've seen signs of Bigfoot, and, recordings of them like hooting and hollering, like literally hooting and hollering, sounding like, monkeys basically, and banging rocks and throwing rocks and hitting trees with sticks and turning into orbs and disappearing and reappearing. And
whoa.
yeah, it was pretty interesting. There are people giving their testimonies, and they swear up and down that Bigfoot's real, but nobody's really seen it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of with me. I mean, I've never gave it much thought. And even when I knew my dad was into it, but then I started listening to these stories, like any podcast you can find. And, I always tell people 900 stories into it, I started going, okay, now wait a minute. There's just no way this many people could coordinate a lie, but whatever. Also, let's see, what else did I want to talk to you about?
Well, it's kind of interesting. Sorry to interrupt you there.
Yeah,
but
no.
When we went to the Bigfoot convention for the first time, Bob Gimlin was there, the guy that originally filmed the Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when me and Stacy were walking through the hotel and he was standing there talking to somebody, literally stops and cocks his head and sees us walking by and immediately locks onto Stacy. And, he was in the middle of the conversation, just stops, looks at her and says, "Oh, wow, look at that." And so me and your dad and Jim and Stacy went into this restaurant and we were eating, and Stacy was sitting next to me on the inside of a booth, and your dad and Jim were sitting on the opposite side of the booth. And this guy comes walking out with a group of other people. They were in like a little separate room eating, and he sees Stacy and immediately just starts like coming over there to talk to her. And
Right.
Stacy's like trying to hide underneath the booth, and I'm like, no, she's right here, she's right here. And he came over and was talking to her and telling her, hey, I go to this convention and that convention, and you should come with me. And he's like asking me, well, hey, who are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm her brother. She would love to
Yeah.
travel with you to all these Bigfoot places. Oh, she could have killed me, but
Yeah.
it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Nice. I would have done the same thing to Wendy,
He was holding her hand and petting her hand and just, yeah, it was hilarious.
That's your link to Sasquatch, the guy.
That's right.
Yeah. Do you now going back to your you walk through your room and stay where you're at, because that's where the internet's at good, but you walked by your Marshall stack. Tell me a little bit about your music. How long you been playing?
I've been wanting to play. I remember wanting to play forever, since I was like 11, maybe 12. And I got my first acoustic guitar, when I was 17, and just kind of like tinkered with it, and then met people along the way to kind of show me this, kind of show me that, taught me a few chords, and then I kind of like play by ear, I guess you could say, where I hear the notes and then kind of put it all together, and kind of just gone from there. And it's kind of weird. I started off listening to like rap, and then one day I started getting into classic rock. And then a friend of mine, when I was 17, I was a junior, he introduced me to Ozzy Osbourne, and it totally just changed my life, man. And so like, I'm a huge Ozzy fan. I like a lot of heavy metal. I like classic rock. A little bit of everything. 80s music, 80s butt rock, I guess you could say, like Quiet Riot, or some of those guys are my absolute favorite, or Accept, Balls to the Wall, any of that kind of stuff. I absolutely love it.
Right on. That's cool.
And that's the kind of stuff I like to play. Or I've been shown, a few scales, so I can kind of improv a little bit too.
Right. It's funny because myself personally, I mean, heavy metal, I never was into it growing up or through most of my life. I mean, other than the stuff, I mean, I know now that there's all kinds of genres within heavy metal.
Yeah.
My buddy Joe that I've done the pod with, he's into heavy metal. And so I've learned a lot from him, and just all these different versions and, little sublets of heavy metal.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that, but it's like any hobby or I like playing the blues and stuff like that. So or did, I don't play anymore, but when within that genre there are all these different types, even though they're all connected. So but it's always surprising to me, because heavy metal is just one of those I didn't pay a lot of attention to. And I mean, barring Metallica, I'm talking, like modern or pop. Would that be pop heavy metal? I don't know what you'd call it, but anyways, but not all that other stuff. I don't know all the different names, and the only reason I knew Disturbed was because they sang Sounds of Silence, and I was like, damn, that's really good. And turns out they're kind of a heavy metal-ish type band too.
Yeah, Down with the Sickness, that's a pretty good song. Yeah, I like them, or Rage Against the Machine. They were pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. One day I just got into it, and I quit listening to rap. And I used to listen to like a lot of Jimi Hendrix and Eric Clapton.
Yeah,
they were really major influences on like my style, and trying to learn how to play scales and kind of incorporate it into, like a blues rhythm and stuff like that. And I love Metallica, like the old Metallica, like from the 80s, like Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning's my most favorite album that they put out. So, some of that kind of stuff, really, I'm just like, I love it. Like speed metal, or some people say it's punk. Offspring, they're pretty good. Smash was their best album. Green Day's okay. They're a little too, I don't know, kind of weird for me. I don't really like the fingernail polish and stuff like that. So I kind of,
yeah.
But Ozzy, yeah, he's my favorite. But yeah, I don't know, that kind of stuff just really calls to me. I like Slipknot a lot, or Gosh, who else? Oh, Slayer. I love Slayer. Slayer's a really good band. I like them too.
Did you ever try to get in a little garage band or anything?
Yeah, when I was in my early 20s, I did play with a garage band. I don't know why we called ourselves Suitcase Jones. I didn't come up with the name. They were the ones that came up with the name, and we came up with a song called Call Me Jones. And yeah, it was kind of interesting. First it just started off with a melody, and then they like re-recorded it and put in some words, and it was just like a little single, maybe like a
Metal,
couple minutes long.
metal.
Kind of sorta,
Yeah.
kind of sorta, I guess, just kind of goofing off, I suppose. I was, really interested in playing at parties or in a bar or something like that. Never really got around to it, but I also am kind of timid when it comes to that kind of stuff. I get really like shy and embarrassed. That's kind of part of the reason why I didn't want to do the podcast, because I just I get really embarrassed and I don't know what to say,
Yeah.
and
No.
I don't want to come off like a goober,
No.
like "Grr,
I
bye
get
guys, Jerry Lewis, hey lady."
well, I get it. I get it. But and most people feel the same way. It's what's funny is it's you would think I mean, it's just my fun thing I'm doing. This is just nobody's really watching it really. I mean, nothing. So you would think it'd be easy to get people to come on, but it's not, because
Yeah.
people will always say, "Oh, sure." And then when they think about it, they're like, "Oh, 35 minutes or 40-minute interview," or you just, yeah, I don't know about that. I'm busy. I can't do it. So, yeah.
You talked me into it, Les. I was
Yeah.
like thinking, I've been thinking about it, and I was like, okay, I'll wing it.
Good.
I'll wing
Well,
it.
and I've been trying to figure out the YouTube algorithms. So I've been going on to YouTube and watching videos. And so I'm trying to upload, a certain amount of videos, certain amount to shorts, a certain amount
Yeah.
to, all this stuff. And it's way over my head and I don't know what I'm doing, but it's just fun. It's a good hobby. So what the hell? I don't care. So,
I
uh,
love YouTube. I like YouTube a lot because, if you don't have the CD, you can go in there and just find the artist and
yeah,
they'll play the whole album for you. Or
yeah.
if you get stuck and you can't figure out certain parts of a song that you want to play, there's all kinds of tutorials of
Yeah.
people,
I
so
love
you're,
it.
just all kinds of stuff,
I'm a big
so
YouTuber. Yeah. I love it.
yeah.
I could be on there all day, but well, shoot, dude. I meant to set a timer to see how much times went by and I didn't look at the clock. So, one thing I like to do when I have somebody on is, ask them to spit some wisdom. Uh, a lot of times people have sayings that they have in their family that they've passed down. My grandpa always said, keep your nose clean if it takes both sleeves, amongst other things.
Interesting.
So, you have anything like that, some wisdom you could pass down to the listeners of Sonoman Sideshow?
It's kind of funny. My dad told me a lot when I was growing up that about marriage and how men get into marriage thinking that nothing will change and women get into marriage thinking everything will change. And at first I didn't really think about, what it meant, but as I got older and I got married, I was like, "Oh, okay." And it doesn't necessarily mean in a bad way. It's
No.
just, things do change.
Yeah.
You have a partner, so you got to kind of figure out, like you can't just be about you and what you want to take off and do,
Yeah. Right. Right.
or like, talking about, make it make sense. Like when you do something, just make it make sense. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Don't just, have a rhyme to the reason.
Right on. Right on.
Just, yeah, just work hard, do your best, do it right the first time so you don't have to go back and do it again. It's so annoying.
Yeah. I've spent most of my life doing that, but
Yeah.
that's all right. We try. So, well, brother, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I know you were skeptical, but you did it. Hopefully you'll come back on, and now that you see it's no big deal, and we can delve into some other topics and get to know you a little bit better. But until then, thank you very much. And I tell the family, we said hello, and we'll hope to get together again in the near future and do something like for my 50th. All of us went and watched Kenny Chesney and got sick. All of us got COVID. And so, maybe we
which
can
was
do
a lot
something
of
like
fun.
that. Yeah, it
And
was.
actually, the first time we ever met was at Sun River, Oregon. That was the first time we met for your birthday.
Oh, yeah.
And the few days we were there at the golf course, I got to meet both your sisters. But
Right.
it was great meeting you guys. But also something amazing else happened was the trip that we found out that Stacy was pregnant.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And then you named your son after me.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Les, David, Leo.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
100%.
all right, brother. Well, thank you very much. I'll let you know when I got this one in the can, and we'll talk at you soon.
Okay, sounds good. Nice to see you.
All right. Take care, David. Thanks.
See you. Bye.
Bye. Okay, well, there we go. That is David Larson. Good dude, great dude. I wish I had more time, but when you have a free subscription to Zoom, you got to keep it within a 35 to 40 minute time frame. Plus all the other stuff, nobody really wants to stick around that long, so I try to squeeze everything in. But anyways, love that guy. Good guy, good family, and hopefully he'll come back on. Let's see. Time to wrap this thing up. Got to get my notes out here. All right. I want to thank tonight's guest and the sponsors: Bill Murphy Roofing, Wandering Wizard Concepts, Vertical Jigs Lures, Liberty Detection Services, DCL Photography, The Shop, DieselFuelFilterKits.com, RidgeTop TV, South Pack Inc., and the JON P. Salter Foundation. All right. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Click subscribe. Let's do this. Bye.